Anybody have any comments or concerns, questions, etc.?
No, they look good.
Yeah, I thought they looked good.
A couple typos, but
Hey, what do you want, man?
I'm kidding.
That's a
This is
long.
very detail oriented. I'm usually bullet points.
I know.
I provided an updated set of minutes that might have taken care of some of those things. Just FYI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we have to determine which is our official record, so.
Well, you just approve the ones that were in the packet is what we say. Just the latest.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're on mute, Jeff.
Make a motion.
Thank.
Approve the
Motion
minutes.
to approve the minutes. Who's Tim? You're.
We need who's taking minutes?
I guess I'll get it this time. Somebody else can take it next time.
Okay.
I'll
thank you,
volunteer for February. I haven't done it in a while.
I'll do March.
Terry.
I'll do April.
Okay.
I do something.
You're all on YouTube and committed.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly right.
What?
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any,
Wait, officially who? No, we can't hear you, Jeff. No. So who officially?
no, I
Nope.
can hear McIntyre.
I can't hear him.
I
I
can't hear
cannot
him
hear
either.
you, Jeff.
Talk, Jeff.
He is.
Seth, can you hear him? No?
Yeah, he's like on a delay.
I'm not even getting a delay.
Oh, I
I'm
got
getting
that
nothing.
first of all. I'm not even getting the delay.
Oh,
Wait,
Barely,
am I hearing
barely.
Terry? I might be hearing Terry's name or voice.
Jeff,
Oh, I
I'm
love
vaguely
Zoom.
hearing you. I was gonna say, there's sometimes if you see by the microphone, there's a little caret up button. And maybe if you go to the audio settings, sometimes that could be a little low there. I don't know why it would be separate from your regular volume, but you can double check there. There's a couple setting options up by that microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right. So Terry, Terry, say something.
So who was the motioner and who was the seconder?
Yeah,
I made the motion.
okay. And who was second?
I'll second
I'll
it if
second
it hasn't
it,
been seconded.
Yeah, I think that's true. Jeff, will we?
That's better, Jeff. A little
Yeah,
more.
marginally though, yeah. Wait,
Speaker.
that's better.
You're getting better right there.
So all I did was say same as system for the microphone. So can you
No,
guys?
you're still echoing. It sounds like you're just speaking with the speakerphone.
But it's not a bad echo. I think it's more of a low volume that I'm having.
Going into audio.
Jeff, you can just give a thumbs up to approve these minutes. We're gonna be here all night, guys.
All in
Minutes
favor,
approved.
all in favor, signify by saying yes.
Aye.
Aye,
Yes,
Aye.
sir.
aye.
I gotta change.
Any opposed?
Well,
And,
Gail wasn't here
abstention
for it,
would
so
be-
it's actually Gail's in this.
Yeah, Gail would be an abstention.
Maybe you didn't link on with the video, with the audio. Maybe you clicked that off in the beginning.
That's on.
You want to try
That's
again? Want to try to link on again?
Oh, there's Jeff.
Hey, there's Jeff.
Volume's all the way up.
Yeah, there you go. I can hear you. What?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hello.
Wonderful, thank you.
We're just about to finish up.
I don't know if this is working.
I'm good.
Yeah.
iPad, Rachel.
No, I'm
All
kidding.
right. All right. Next
kidding.
meeting is February. Thanks, guys.
All righty.
It's not the headphones. I can't.
We need to go hurry up so we can all watch what's going on down in DC now, right?
Well, Georgetown's at 7.
Yeah. Anyway, Jeff, we have approved the minutes. That's as far as we've gotten. So we're about to go into old business at the moment.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
There you go.
Did Jeff vote? No.
Jeff,
What?
which Jeff? Mr. Eck or Mr. McIntyre?
Commissioner X, excuse me.
Missionary Act.
Did he vote?
No,
No, I just
Okay.
got,
because we came in
All right.
after, he came in after the
Yep.
the vote.
I got it.
Yeah, and it won't hurt anything. We got enough anyway.
No
Okay.
That's what make my change.
Let the record show, however, that
But
Jeffrey
hang on here. Jeff
has
was,
joined.
I'm sorry.
Change, but I can't make it.
Let the record show that Jeffrey has joined us,
7:10.
7:10. Okay. Hughes Road speed humps.
Certainly. In your packet, I just combined sort of 3 different improvements to Hughes Road, including the Tom Fox intersection. 2 of them you were pretty much aware of. The speed humps, that's a $3,500 cost for that treatment. And he has marked those. Those are visibly out there on the roadway. So he found a couple spots for those.
Seth, any reason there's only 2? I mean, I know that I've got to walk up and down there. I could say, oh, there's easy 3 or 4 here. But I also think that John put the 2 where he put them for a reason. And I want to see if I'm right on that. So go ahead.
Sure. Were you thinking, and again, this was between Tom Fox and Tom Fox, as you all had requests.
Yes.
Just making sure that
Yeah,
we're
it
talking
looked,
the same
it looked as
span.
though any set of houses that faced Hughes were in a speed hump area.
Mhm.
Anybody further down like Gray Court and Conlin, the courts were the only thing that went into Hughes. So there wasn't really any reason to put a speed hump in with respect to safety, because nobody faced that way anyway, hardly.
Sure.
I still think though, we need to have extras in, but if we're gonna take care of what we need to take care of first, and then go back later if we deem it to be necessary to put more of them there, then we'll approach it again. But in my mind, that we're okay with the 2 as a minimum.
Certainly. And if I use Hoskins, I think as an example, although it's not a fair comparison of stretch, but there's only a small segment longer. It looks like there's only one on Hoskinson
The iPad is not connecting to the internet.
between Bodmer and Westerly. And I think there's just one there. I think there's one down further in the next block, but it gives you a sense of that's a chunk of the stretch on Hughes. And then there's only a smaller segment from Bodmer down to Hughes.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
I have not seen where they laid out the speed humps. Where are they?
So if you go down Hughes Road from my house, the first one, you know where Wick's house are, right? Brian and Heidi.
The kids?
Huh?
Kits.
My
Kits.
the last name went down. What? Would you say? Tim?
The kids.
Kits, thank you. Yeah. So it's one house after Kits's house, heading out toward River Road.
Okay.
Okay, and then the other
Going
one
south.
is kind of in between Conlin Court and Gray Farm, right?
For some reason it's not working.
That sound right, Seth?
Sounds right.
So those are the 2.
Okay. I'll have to take a drive down there.
Okay. Does
We go to audio settings.
Well, what you were thinking, we were thinking that there's going to be 2 between. Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead. My apologies.
No, that's right. All right, so
Oh, I know.
so you got estimates on this, right?
Yes, correct.
Doesn't sound.
From John.
I'm talking right now.
Let me make,
Going halfway up.
Jeff, we can hear you talking to Suzanne in the background.
I didn't think my microphone was working.
Now you're sounding great right now.
Wow, well, that's weird. I didn't do anything.
yeah, we heard it.
Must have been Suzanne.
So you guys can hear me?
I mean, it's still a little muffled, but we can hear you better.
yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, I had one edit to the meeting minutes, but I guess you guys already passed them, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you had your hand down like this, right?
Yeah, you must have something going on with your mic, man.
All right, well, I'm trying to get the iPad hooked up here. We'll see what happens.
Jeff,
Okay.
it might help, but I did make a number of changes to the minutes that I provide in the packet, so your change may have been addressed.
My other change was it's Tom Fox to Tom Fox. It said River Road in there.
Okay, I will make sure that that's in there.
Can we back up to the speed humps?
Yeah, we're still on the speed humps.
Yeah, we're still there.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Can we explain to Gail what the speed humps, how wide they are and stuff? And I don't think she knows.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
Did
we
you-
know, but we've probably forgotten more than, I bet Seth knows more than we do.
Well,
Yeah, did you
I
get
mean-
a copy? You got a copy of everything for today, right? Yeah, okay.
I did,
So
thank
understood,
All right.
understood.
so you've seen the speed humps that are on like Westerly and Hill, I mean, like Hillard and other things. So clearly that's what we're just talking about, installing these on Hughes between Tom Fox and Tom Fox, now that the town owns that section of road, which it previously didn't. And we now
Okay.
can make certain improvements to it. And so the board discussed last month some of these type of improvements to that, and then the intersection as well. And so we're just trying to locate a couple there. And John Strong, who's not with us tonight, is our town engineer, and he provides these recommendations to us. And this is kind of what he's recommended in these locations. And I guess I can say that, you know, that's based on John Strong's his determination, of course, and it might have to be to deal something with where the bend is at, and he figures that might provide a little slowing. So he may have deliberately put them on either side of that bend. And we're not rushed to make a decision because we're not probably going to install these till May. So if you want further information, we can come back. But I
Yeah.
suspect coming this way, you know, having to make the bend and coming the other way, that may have made a distinction of why he didn't, because you have to naturally do a little slowing up anyway.
Right.
That
I
could
saw,
be-
I've seen where they've marked them, and then I've seen ones on Chiswell as well, or by the bend there as well, so. Because I'm walking the streets all the time, just walking around.
And it does a reasonably good job of, you know, maintaining or minimizing speeding. Won't prevent it, and, you know, if you can go over it at 25 miles an hour without a problem, and that's what our
Yeah,
speed limits are.
yeah,
Then again, if you have a large car, large truck, things like that, they can go over at a faster speed, but you can only do so much.
so they're a different size than what was put on Bodmer,
No, they'll probably, no, most of the one throughout town, the speed limit in the developments is 25. So all of our humps have been put in
Okay,
within that, whatever calculations they make, you know, to height and drop down and so forth, to make it that you can drive across at 25 miles an hour without having to put your brake on. Some people do, some people don't, obviously, but, you know, at a minimum, you can pretty much get people down to 25 miles an hour.
I mean, this is, I guess, past where we are in this conversation, but I was talking to someone somewhere in town, and they were discussing how putting a speed bump at an actual stop sign would force them to stop, slow down, and they'd have to stop. And I was like, oh, I've never seen that.
We tried that once under the guise of a safety thing, and it was a disaster.
Was
And I
it?
don't
We
think
as a board decided never to do it again.
Okay.
It didn't work. Everybody's
never
like, why
seen
didn't you
it,
put
so
this
I was
here and a stop sign?
Yeah. Seen it, so it was an interesting
yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
maybe.
And I don't think the state of Montgomery County allows them anyway,
Oh, okay.
look at the regs. But anyway, we can,
Yeah.
It's a county.
maybe we'll get you a copy of these regs here.
Oh, please.
I'll get you a copy.
Thank you.
Hey, Seth, can you hear me?
A
So,
little bit, you're kind of low, but go ahead, Jeff.
Can you look to see if I'm waiting room for my iPad?
What?
Oh, I see. He's trying to join in from his other device. This
Oh.
might help.
might be working. Your name is there.
There we go. Is that better?
Oh,
Much
yeah.
better.
Hey,
Oh,
welcome,
yeah.
Jeff.
Hey,
You
Jeff.
see the side of my head then. Let me move the laptop and there we go.
So do we need to, well, two questions. One, how is this being budgeted? I'm assuming it's not gonna be done over the winter time.
No, it's not gonna be done over the winter. We talked last meeting, we probably sometime in April, May is when we might do it.
And this, will it just come out of the current,
What we'll do is
Road ma-
probably pull
road
it
ma-
out of the street paving. We'd pull it out of street paving. There's a little bit there we can, yeah, we can pull a little bit out of there.
Yeah.
and then I see the removal of the, right-hand turn lane northbound.
Yeah, correct. I
on-
mean, I've got all three things on here.
Yeah.
I've got all three things. I can go over those, as a collective, since two of these are actually on the agenda. Other one's kind of a new topic to tee up. But I mean, so there's the speed humps, and there's a discussion that you all just had about that. I don't know if you want to have any more discussion about the speed humps. Or not.
So that was going to be $3,500, and that is what it is, right? Yeah.
Correct.
3,500 a piece or per?
No, I think we should be collective
I mean-
on that.
Okay.
Well, the one that goes on the sofa, just put back here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Along those.
And then the next one, the removal of the right-hand turn lane. We had spoken about that last meeting as well. And
Correct.
asked John to give us,
The price on it.
price, and yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean,
So,
since we had enough discussion on that, I mean, clearly my report says it's about $4,500. So we pull up the curb in that section, make the curb go at least around the bend a little bit, and provide an inlet into the existing drainlet. So obviously the drainlet is in further because that's where the curb is. We're not going to move that because of the cost. So we pull the curb around, create a curb inlet, another curb inlet, and back out, and then maybe taper off to grass in that vicinity. So you come up to the intersection, there'll be a little bit of grass, and then curb, inlet, and then curb to make the bend. So at least the bend is sort of solid and reinforced. That's almost how the curb mirrors on the north side of Hughes on the same side of the street. Curb wraps around, goes for about 100 feet and then tapers.
Right. Yep. And now, in the one that we're looking at, we're planning to put a curb in, right?
Yes, correct. Definitely to keep that edge solid and then where the drainage goes in.
Now, because that's what we did not do on the part section of road across from Tom Fox on the same side. I don't think there's a curb there.
You talking about on the north side of Tom Fox across the street?
Yeah, on the side, the same size as the side of the road as the Catholic church and everything, the parsonage.
Let me do something to clarify everything for everybody.
pretty sure there's a curb there if you just look at the,
There's a curve.
Yeah,
Sure
there's
that's
a
on
curb
Is there
there.
a curb there? All right, I was stuck.
yeah, if you look at the picture that Seth included for the sidewalk conversation,
Yeah,
it's,
Can you see my screen?
yes, yep.
Yes.
Yep.
It'll mimic that, but it'll be a lot shorter. It won't be quite as long. So we'll take
Okay.
up this asphalt and through here, pull this over a little bit, mirror it, cut in, cut back out, and then taper back off this way.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There is a curb there, obviously. Holy cow, there, yeah. All right.
Looks like we need some crosswalks there.
and it's only $4,500 to jack all of that up.
Well, we'll do some of it in-house. We'll do some of that in-house. The removal part. That's what's going to keep some of the cost down is some of that will be in-house.
Yeah, that just looked a little cheap for me for all that asphalt removal.
Yeah, I
and then-
mean, that's what, when John said that, I was a little bit surprised myself, but I think it's a lot of it's the fact that we're going to do some of it in-house. And then really what you're doing about is form work on concrete. And
yeah,
of course, then we'll add the dirt and soil back ourselves. So
right. Okay.
there's some, that's how we saved a little bit that way.
I think that maybe I'm wrong, but another way might be that when the county resurfaced those roads, they weren't really asphalt. They were oil and really small chip gravel.
Chip and seal is what it's called often.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that's maybe easier to rip out because it's not as strong as asphalt.
Well, you're still gonna have the asphalt underneath it.
No, there's not underneath it. That's it. It was a rural road, so, or at least at the time it was, and that's how they treated
I mean,
it.
they had to have some gravel base or something. I mean, right?
There's probably a modest gravel base. There's probably a modest top coat. And then they probably chip and tart it many times. I mean, obviously Doug lives on the corner, so give them some validity on that. And, you know, if they've chipped and tarred just a few times over there, I mean, it's probably added, you know, half inch because it's such a thin
Yeah.
layer, but I presume there was something modest underneath and they had to level it out. But,
Yeah.
you know, Doug's probably right. There's not, some of these roads can be surprising. You know, they could have many lifts over the years, and then some barely have any in certain spots. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
we'll saw cut.
I mean, it's just the town digging it up though, right? Just backhoe. Go to
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, we'll have to saw cut it and then tear it up.
And then that'll allow us to move the sign out, or the stop sign out, and make it more visible and easier to see, and yeah, right, more visible. And then we could also remove the rumble strips.
That's correct.
And I think we're good.
So, I mean,
Hey,
those two-
can I ask a question? I don't mean to jump back, but when I was doing the switch between computer and iPad here, did you guys say the locations that are marked for the speed humps is still debatable, or?
I don't think we said anything either way.
I think
I thought-
anything
I'm
up
just
in-
looking at the satellite view of where the Kitzes live. And
Yeah,
that's, a third of the way between Tom Fox and the curve on Hughes. And I'm thinking, if you're gonna only put 2 in, why wouldn't you go halfway or closer to halfway? Because I mean, Doug, you know where the Kitzes live. I mean,
Yeah.
it's closer down by the Catholic Church house. Unless we're just trying to slow them down.
No, if you go out Hughes, Kitts is, let's see, is it?
You said it's one house past the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
house
it's one
back.
house. Yeah, it's one house past. Yeah.
So it'd be 3 houses down from Doug, or the 4th house down from the intersection.
Right.
These are the recommendations from John,
Yeah,
the
these are
engineer
John's.
John Strong. These are his
Yeah.
recommendations?
That's correct.
okay, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I thought you said it was the Kitz's house.
Oh, no. It was one short of that. Yes, I understand.
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry. I mean, like Pat said, John picks the spots. That's good with me.
Yeah.
I defer to the engineer.
Exactly.
As
Yes.
do I.
All right.
Always.
So, and then there's a third part to this, right, Seth, that I don't think anybody realized until John probably started taking a look at it with the.
Well, I talked about it with John earlier this year, because I noticed what an odd angle that intersection is. And
Yeah.
obviously with the turn lane, because turn lane's kind of been on the radar for a while too, is that you can see what I provided you. There's an opportunity to straighten out the sidewalk that's on sort of the southwest corner, avoid the street light, come across that median that exists there, and then put a crossing ramp across the street on the north side of Hughes from Tom Fox. So let me pull something up real quick just for I'll do that in a minute. So that would provide a sidewalk through there that makes a little bit better connection, because really the folks on the south side of Hughes, south of Tom Fox, are sort of stranded in this area with no good way to get to the north side. This sort of clears that up by cutting through that curb and raised median. You also provide a pedestrian refuge, so that sort of provides some additional safety there and provides good connectivity and flow. That's sort of a staff recommendation to you. We'll be able to avoid those street lights. That one's a little bit more just because the amount of sidewalk work we got to do and be a little bit more delicate with our procedure there. That was about 6,500, he said.
Right. Now, would we, let's see, we're trying to think. So we're doing all the work on the other side, but without this new thing.
Except for the curves.
Yeah, but would we be required by ADA to fix that anyway, because it's we're changing the intersection?
I don't know if we'd be required to because of what we're doing on the other side, particularly since we're not providing an approach there in terms of a pedestrian walkway. But I do think this improvement is just probably good practice in the nature of everything we're trying to do in terms of making improvements at this intersection.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But I just wanted to validate the thought process. That's all.
Sure. No.
So we need to,
And you can see it better here. Obviously, it dumps out
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
And straightening it up a little bit through this process will help quite a bit.
yeah.
We'd come across like this a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, to make a big apron there, whatever, a wide one, and then still gives you a chance
So
to,
you're actually
go
going
right.
to be, so we're not just widening out the apron or the, whatever.
But I think part of John's cost may be to close this up a little bit and put it back over here. I don't think we're gonna have one gargantuan wide apron here.
right, okay.
Because you got to remember that this thing is probably bowled up like this, right? Like any sort of approach, right? You got your slope
Yeah.
downward, but
Yep.
and so probably it requires that cutting across here some delicacy, adjusting that curb a little bit, and then providing the connection here. And again, I provided it in my staff report as well. Let me do.
How far does that sidewalk go down from the corner towards the south of town? Does it go all the way down?
Oh, it goes all the way down. Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah. Okay, good. That'll be good
Yeah,
to connect that. People can walk that.
Yep.
Good.
Certainly.
I for one think every one of those things make perfect sense, since we're already doing the work on the intersection already.
yep.
Why not take care of that sidewalk or that crossing at the same time?
And
Yeah.
Seth, you said where the existing street lights will not cause a problem?
Yeah, we're going to avoid those a little bit. I provided here in blue kind of where they're at. And of course, the stop bar is already back here, so we're not going to have a conflict with that anyway.
Right.
So John and I have done a couple of field visits out here, and we'll put like this hatching that you see here
Mhm.
right through here
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
This will really connect that long sidewalk that does go way south of town, in a more meaningful way to the rest of the network that provides a safe pedestrian path.
Yeah. Yeah.
This will really definitely help ADA in the sense that, us walkers can cross that median fairly easily, but if you're in a wheelchair or something else, you got to round the front of that island,
Yep.
put yourself in traffic.
Yeah.
The
All right,
two,
cool.
the two pictures that Seth provided on page 7 of the packet show you that, that corner really well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Is that a scarecrow in there? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
it
well,
is.
because I started talking with John about this back in probably in August, but time we got there and took some pictures, it was getting ready for the scarecrow contest.
The
I
first
thought it
time
was
I
Jeff
looked
in front of
at
his house.
first time I glanced at it, I thought some kid was running across the road.
I thought it was you, Doug, in front of your house.
Yep. So anyway,
Good idea.
Yeah, no,
I like
that's
it.
that looks good. Makes sense to put that there. So those are the three components of that, right, Seth?
that's correct.
I'm asking the board, are we in a position to make a determination and to present to commissioners?
I like it.
I like it.
Okay,
I like it.
Can I just get a motion on all three components?
yeah, I don't think we have to keep them separate, do you?
No, I think they can travel together. No
Okay,
pun
good,
intended.
'cause I think it makes a better package that way.
Yeah.
All
So,
right, so,
I'll make a motion that we, you ready?
yep,
I'll make a motion that we present to the or approve to the commissioners or suggest to the commissioners
Recommend.
that they do all the recommendations that are on page 5 of our packet.
Which is
Jeff
the
makes a
road-
recommendation. Jeff makes a
A lot of
motion to make a
detail there.
recommendation that we approve the 2 speed humps on Hughes Road south of Tom Fox to improve the crossing on Tom Fox, on the north side of Tom Fox, and to correct the turn lane
so it's been moved and
on
seconded.
northbound Tom Fox and Hughes Road.
And the sidewalk crossings.
Terry, did you get all that?
Uh,
You
Page
can always
five,
go back and watch it on YouTube.
reference page 5.
There you go.
You can always go back and watch it on YouTube.
Any questions, ask Seth.
There you go.
I have a question for Seth.
Yes.
Are those 3 things that are on page 5 budgeted?
They're not budgeted in the current year's budget, but what we could do is go to the paving budget that we have escrowed away. As we do a pay-as-you-go on all of our do pretty much. And so we do have a little bit of funds in there as part of the pay-as-you-go program. And we could use some of those dollars there.
Can we also look for state money, state grant money?
These are town roads, so they're unlikely to give for something like this.
Even if we say it's part of the parks or the trail system? That's how we do our sidewalks, through the 5 feet.
Well,
wide.
I'm going to get into that. I will say this, sometimes by the requirements they have, it's cheaper to do certain small segments on your own, because then you got to get into prevailing wages and contracts and other things and a bunch of other.
Good, thank you. All right.
Okay, so Trainer
I seconded the motion.
seconded the motion. Any further conversation, questions, et cetera?
I have another
Seeing none.
quick question for Seth.
Yeah, Jeff?
Seth, since it isn't budgeted and the money is going to be kind of borrowed from another bucket, is that normal procedure?
I mean, you wouldn't want to get in the habit of getting too out of line with it. One could say that we've saved a little bit from our previous paving budget because asphalt prices were so low when we did that project this summer. But we also have to be conscientious and realize that we've taken over 3 roads that probably need some paving in the next cycle. So we want to be careful about getting too excited with that. And I would agree that your general concept is right. And I would be safe with that. But I think this is probably one thing we could kind of finish out as a package and provide some improvements on a new road that we just obtained that we previously didn't have authority over.
Thank you, Seth.
Yeah, and just Jeffrey, some background, this intersection has been problematic, at least in my mind, and almost anybody that lives down Hughes, ever since, for about 20 years now.
Yep.
We've now had the opportunity, since the county never took up what we thought was reasonable as far as safety. So we now have an opportunity to make this intersection safer. And I think we started with the humps, speed humps, but the fact that John Strong was able to identify 2 other areas that are where improvements and safety can be improved or increased as a result of him looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I'd
then,
just like to,
and then to go even further, the Parks Board historically, up until I think the last 2 years or so, really had no defined budget. So anytime that we did any of these things, we're recommending the item as well as, the money needed to fund it.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's a little bit different now. I think we have a budget.
we have a tiny budget, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's streets. I mean, it could be for whatever, but
yeah.
I mean, just because we recommend it, Commissioner Eck, doesn't necessarily mean that you guys have to go ahead and approve it. You can budget, you can say, hey, we're going to put it in for the next budget cycle. Once it gets from us, it's up to you guys. You have the power of the purse, and you're going to make the ultimate decision whether it gets done or not.
Right.
It just has to come from our board to get onto your, to get onto your agenda. So
Well,
it's-
I personally like it because I take a walk from where I live in Elizabeth Delight, and I walk over to the John Poole Middle School, and then back again. And there is no crosswalk from one area of Hughes Road over to the other side of Hughes Road, where I go out then from Tom Fox over to Fisher Avenue. And I always kind of thought that was a bit curious because, I mean, obviously you can go, there's not that much traffic, so you can get across the street safely. But I always thought it was a bit unusual that there was no zebra striping to get to the other direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think here that'll be rectified also, because once we take the top part of that island off, you're going to insert a walkway and then insert the painted stripes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, our recommendation is really procedural. It gets the item onto your agenda, and as the commissioners, you guys decide.
Sure.
You folks decide how best to
Yeah.
budget it or not spend it, or whether you want to approve it out of the rainy day or the
Road paving.
road paving budget or account, whatever, So that will be decided once it gets up onto your desk. I mean, sometimes in the past, we've said we recommend that you budget this over the next 3 or 4, budget cycles, but in this particular case, because it's the costs are fairly,
Fairly reasonable.
I mean, they're very reasonable, and I mean, they're not, absorbent costs. It's something that we didn't include that in this particular
Right,
motion.
right. Okay, well, thank you very much for all the explanations.
And the truth be known, Ed, the town probably had the authority. We probably would have made these improvements some time ago as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, definitely would have done. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Many years we've talked about this.
Yeah. So, all right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion, questions, comments, et cetera? Gail, you good with stuff? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
All in favor, signify by saying aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any abstentions or nays? None. So you're not unanimous, always a good thing.
Is that 7 or is that 6?
7.
All right.
I love everybody's counting the screen.
Go move.
Mr. Chairman, would we like to go?
I could never remember if Jeff or the commissioner
think it's bingo.
representative had a vote on this, but
Yeah, they do. Commissioner representatives always have a vote. The only person that doesn't have a vote is Seth.
And Preston.
Well, yeah, if he was here.
Any staff?
Okay,
mean,
so we're on to bike racks, right?
Yes. This is just to keep it fresh on our memory. There's nothing particular here. I think Mr. Trainer and I probably need to touch base a little bit. I know he was saying at the last meeting when he had an opportunity, if I recall correctly, don't let me throw you under the bus, that
No.
this is something you were going to look up. I mean, it's been the holidays and everything else going on. So, but it just keeps us our toes.
Yes,
in the fire a little bit.
I did volunteer to run point on that. I had all my information in our packet that we haven't been able to get from town hall. But I got Mr. McIntyre sent me over some of the links we were looking at before. He found them through his email. So I've started to get the ball rolling here. So I'm going to work on pricing, and then I really would like to develop a priority list too, where we want to put these things, and how many we're starting to bet, and how many phases we want to do it in. So we'll get together a little presentation and have a packet ready to go up to the commissioners whenever we're through. But I'd say a couple months to put it together. But,
Pat, what was ballpark for this? Like 5,000 or 10,000?
Yeah. So I wish Preston were on because I can't remember exactly the dollar amount that Morningstar quoted for them. But I think they were talking about
$800 a piece.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
$800 per bike rack, which
You said no more than 500. So I think you budgeted about 5,000 on this.
Yeah, that was it.
Because you
Yeah.
thought we're thinking about maybe 10 bike racks, not more than $500 each. You wanted to give Morningstar Welding, an opportunity to bid on this because they're local. And they were $800, and I don't think the little decal made it super exorbitant. So I don't think that taking that out makes the change.
Yeah, and I think you can. I mean, there's places the places I'm looking at, you can order that stuff online, and it's under that cost. So I'll pull it down. I don't know if I think we talked about $5,000, but I kind of. Yeah, I mean, I would love to just be like, hey, this is how many, kind of like how we did our sidewalk plan. This is how many we want. This is how much we want in the initial phase 2, phase 3, whatever, however long phases it takes.
This would have to be in the budget then. We don't have money for this already.
No.
Okay, going forward. Okay.
So yeah, I'll get working that, and Seth, we'll get together and
Sounds good. We can do that.
put our heads together.
Cool.
So I'll just put this on maybe for March.
Pat?
I'll just throw some.
Yeah, March. I think that's probably enough time to put something together.
Hey, Pat, I'm going to forward you another email. When I was looking through my old stuff, I found an email from Carrie where she actually listed pretty much most of the parks in town and how many, and if they had any current bike racks.
Perfect. If you can forward that to me, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you for your initiative on that.
Okay.
Rob.
We good? Moving along, skate park painting.
So this is more in the category of update, just like the previous one. What I was able to get John Strong to do is we were able to find the plans. We had to go back to the company and they still had the plans available. And so what he's done is marked up some, what you might call kind of common areas of theme of like, the grade of certain ramps and other things, and sort of did some square foot counts on it so that we can now hand that off to the people who are before you in November and say, if you're looking to see how many gallons you need, here's the square footage for these different components. So it allows them to do multiple colors if they desire and have an idea of what those areas are. Again, looking still maybe potentially at the stain a little bit. John may have found something else that requires maybe not quite as much etching, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's still moving, and I'm going to give that information to that family so they can start working on maybe more of the detailed cost.
Right.
Are those two boys still interested, Noah and Cage?
Yes, I think they are. Yes.
Okay. I was just telling that so Gail would know their names.
Mhm.
So
Do we,
what's the plan to paint the skate park?
that's it.
They
exactly.
basically
The new
want to,
member has to
yeah,
do it.
that's it. They want to paint a mural on the skate park. A couple reasons to beautify, but also to help discourage graffiti and whatnot.
Okay. Is there any information on if the paint will affect the roll of the skateboards, or you know what I mean?
Well, that's the good thing about, I think, because they're actually skateboard members themselves, and so they're interested in this a little bit. And there's been discussion about the paint does affect sort of, the feel from a skater standpoint of how this works. One of the reasons the stain might work a little bit better is it might not have quite, I just want to modestly say a slick finish, but,
Yeah.
even the painted things, you kind of understand what I mean from slick and not slick, Of course, it's going to get scuffed up, so then you get into this theoretical discussion of, after it gets rolled over so many times, is it really impactful anyway, the painting and those sort of things? And since I don't skate, I really don't know, but
Okay.
And
kind of a discussion point.
And I believe the hardware store was going to supply the paint at cost, right? Yeah, I'm reading the notes from that.
Okay.
Yeah. John,
Yeah.
John had said he would supply the painting costs, according to the two
Right.
young.
We'll circle back with them and get more information.
Mhm.
Well, it's good that it's fellas who use the park, and hopefully they will be points of influence on those who are less than desirable with their painting skills.
Or maybe their skating skills, but they're there for other skills, which we are
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
enthused about. So hopefully a little bit of peer pressure will bring that around.
Yeah.
So, or that they put their own grease to it.
I just Googled skate park painting and it's all over the internet. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
and so I think it's probably a pretty standard
Treatment.
thing.
So Seth, can you, I think you and I had mentioned this each other in an email here we spoke about. Can you give us an update on the old business, I guess, with respect to no, jeez, wait a minute. Not Willard either. The property.
Oh,
right
the
next to
Wheeler
town
project,
hall.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Hey,
Doug.
good. I'm glad you weren't grabbing the name either. Good.
So why don't we do it, let me just throw it under Superintendent of Parks. I'll provide it then.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's
That's
good.
what I'll do.
Yep. Okay.
I'll do it then.
Any old business that we may have forgotten? Anybody? All right. Then moving on. Whoop.
How are we doing on the lawyer was looking into the path from Tama 1 to Tama 2, the
Well,
right of way there.
You tabled, are you talking about through the school or through the other segment through the
Oh, no, he's, so the bridge between Tama 1 and Tama 2 next to the farm on Dr. Walling.
you're right.
Yeah, on
I sent him an email. I sent him an email probably back in November.
Okay.
We haven't circled back with it, but there's an email to him. I mean,
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay,
um,
we good? All right, moving along, Bodmer Avenue, safe route to school.
all right, I'll try and keep this a little condensed. As you all know, most of our east-west streets have some sort of sidewalk along the side of it to provide some pedestrian safety, particularly since these are long connector roads. And a similar proposal is outlined here for Bodmer. As you all know, where Bodmer terminates now to the east is a new development going in called Westerly Grove, and they will take that all the way. They'll take Bodmer all the way to West Willard Road. And so then you'll have a connection from Hughes all the way to West Willard. And so this is an opportunity to install that sidewalk that's missing along Bodmer currently. And we can use a Safe Routes to School funding mechanism for this. And that would require an 80-20 match. We'd provide the 20% match to this. So the length of this section on the existing street is about 2,040 feet. So if we put a curb on there and sidewalk, we're looking at about $510,000 for this improvement. A 20% match by the town would be about $102,000. This would come from the recreational fee impact fund. There will be some dollars available in this amount that could fund this project. But this doesn't include design, which is another $65,000, but we would do an 80-20 match on that as well. I didn't break down the 20% on this, but that would be the 20% match. So what we'd have to do first is step one with any Safe Routes to School is you submit your grant for the design. That deadline is May of this year, so we could submit it for that. Before you can request grant funding for the actual construction, your plans have to be 30% done. It's a very common number for these Safe Routes to School programs. And that would take us really through the end of this year to get that 30% design in place. And then we could apply for the construction cost in calendar year 22. So let me sort of put the design element in perspective. Because the design is funded by the state and the federal government, the design work has to be reviewed by both agencies. That ended up taking 3 to 4 years to get a final complete approval. So what we could do is get ourselves in, so that's how long it's going to take. So we're talking probably, 24, 25, actually be able to start construction, but we could apply for the construction dollars in 22 to reduce any delay and lag because we've got the 30% design in place. So the staff's recommendation, to you, and then if you desire to pass that along to the town commission is, though that this is a worthy project because we're now going to have a connector road from, like I said, West Willard all the way to Hughes. And this would allow pedestrian safety along the side of that connector road, which it will now become. If this is recommended by you to the town commission, I will discuss with the town commission, them providing a letter to the residents adjacent to this, just so that they're aware and they're surprised when this starts construction in future years. But your role, of course, would be to determine if you even think this is worthwhile, and then second, make a recommendation to the town commission.
Sidewalks are always recommended. And curbs.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of time has been spent with this board in particular on getting as many sidewalks in as we can, because they were either left off in the original plans years and years ago, or they just weren't put in or something, or they're not functional. They don't work right the way they should. So, I would be in favor of recommending to the commissioners that we do this, and particularly if we have an 80% funder in the form of the state money that'll come over.
Is that, that's definitely not, it's not a guaranteed fund, right? It could be if they approve the application, but I'm assuming they probably will after an elongated process. That's
Right.
described.
So yeah, it's probably more than likely. I mean, even if we didn't get it in 21, the design dollars, we definitely could apply for 22.
Yeah.
But usually the funding for these are pretty positive rate on these.
Right. I would think so.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, even if we should go forward with this, because we want to have a plan, a definitive plan on our books, so that we can walk right in and try and get money for funding or funding money from the state. In other words, the state needs to see so many things done in a row, and we've learned this well. And Bobby, our
Town clerk.
business out, she knows exactly how to do it and where to go, and it's great. But one of the key things is you have to have a plan that you can present. So anytime we think we're getting close to either having grant money, or anytime we're getting close to having it for ourselves, we will usually have something on the books so that we can just pass it over and say, here's our plan. And we accelerate that first step, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Right, and
I guess my only question I was going to have was, where does this fall? I know that school routes, and I guess this would technically end up being a school, is a priority on our sidewalk plan that we created for the town. I'm assuming this falls in the high priority bucket. It's not. I think Wooten was one, a couple others, but and up and around the high school. But I know that's going to be tabled until we figure out what's going on with the design and rebuild of the high school. So I mean, I'm in favor of it. I'm just curious how the design is 10% of the cost, or over 10% of the cost. It's a lot of design work, man.
It is
$65,000.
How did we rank Bodmer anyway when we did the sidewalk review a couple years back? Do we have a copy of that?
Well, you know what? I'm going to say it wasn't ranked up there, but I don't think we took into consideration that Westerly Grove is
The new development, yeah. And that would be a nice cut through to get to the, quick way to get to the school.
Oh, people are going to be using that for sure.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
all the more reason for that pedestrian safety.
And-
But
and
Patrick,
even if-
your point is, it's government stuff, and now you've added 2 layers of governments, both the state and the feds. So you just go through review processes and changes and other things. And I agree with you. It's pretty astronomical. The irony is, if we paid for this out of pocket, our overall cost would probably at least a third less. But it's still more than 102,000 at a third less.
Yeah.
But
plus
Yeah.
it's going to cost, it's going to take us time to get the 100,000 plus
mhm.
budgeted over a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, that's where you.
Right.
Right.
That's where we got to get it going now.
Mhm.
Right. Exactly.
Budget it. Helps so we're ready to go when it comes through.
Yeah.
Good.
So let me ask you a question with respect to this section, well, with respect to that development, and it's tying into
West Willard.
West Willard. On the other end, well, are we planning to put speed humps in there initially, right from the get-go?
Are you
That's a good
talking?
point.
So let me once again, that road, meaning the new section of Bodmer, does have some design curves in it. So it's going to help slow up the traffic inherently in its design. Let me just pull that up real quick. I think at the tab teed up. So let me see if I can make this change while you're all on the screen.
Hey, while you're looking at that, I pulled up the sidewalk prioritization list, and Bodmer is a category 1. So we did have it in
Good.
our high.
Boy, we were thinking back then, huh?
I mean, we've got
Probably
about,
more for the park than it
Oh,
was.
here we
about
go.
30 or
Yeah.
we got about 30 or 40 streets though that are category 1s. But Bodmer is part of it.
So can you all see the dark gray?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So you can see this is where it stops currently, where my mouse is. So
right.
it makes these nice sweeping bends, if you will, that help provide a little bit of
Okay, yeah.
speed reduction in this. And so just while we're on this discussion, and I'm going to turn on this aerial, is over here, this has been before the Planning Commission in a concept plan. The Planning Commission said come back with a little bit different design and tighten up a few things. So not that this will go anywhere, but there will be, because it doesn't show up as well, across from here will be a potentially new development. And of course, it may just come into here and go somewhere within here where if it tees off this way or comes down that way, it will then tie this development in. So when you start looking at the length of Bodmer and what it ties together, it is definitely going to be a quality connector road, that provides connection to the community.
Well, Bodmer has a couple on it already, right?
The speed humps,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
did them last year. Remember you asked me
Yeah.
last month, the
Yeah.
next minute.
Yeah,
Right.
we just did.
We got speed humps there?
Yeah.
You voted this summer to put one.
We
like
literally
every-
voted to do this like
Yeah.
6 months ago.
Yeah, back in August, you voted and we did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think people didn't remember this last meeting.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta look up back in August. Hold on.
Thank you, Seth, for finding that for us.
You
Yeah.
are absolutely welcome. Not a
I don't
problem.
remember that.
2020 has been a year of, certain things you don't want to remember, right?
Yeah,
tell me
true.
about it.
So
I had
yeah,
my mask on.
Oxygen deprivation.
now it's up
Okay.
to you all to make a determination and vote to the town commission if you so desire.
All right. Well,
So the recommendation here is that we recommend that they start the planning process, really, of adding sidewalks on Bodmer to connect to the new Westerly Grove neighborhood.
in anticipation of using it for purposes of making a grant finally.
Mhm.
Right. state
You'd
and the federal
basically
money.
be providing recommendation both on the design and the construction, take it together in one package.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
no, I figured it'd be one package. I'm just,
Yeah.
it's more just, hey, here's a recommendation. If you want to get started on doing this, you may want to do it now sooner rather than later.
Right. Yep.
The safe routes to the school.
And that's
So,
65,000. You said that's paid from recreational impact fees? Or,
Oh, let me be clear. The 65,000 is just the design work. That'll be an
No, I know.
80/20 match as well. But our responsibility be $102,000.
yeah. So our design match is
Whatever, 20%.
13,000.
Yeah, correct. That's a fairly nominal amount.
Yeah. Okay. Then I make a motion that we recommend to the town commissioners to prepare a plan for sidewalk connection between Bodmer, starting at Hughes, to connect to the new development in Westerly Grove.
Can we add the safe route to the school in that too? So it looks more appealing.
Yeah. I mean, because that's who we're going to make the grant to, right? Under
Right.
that
Yeah.
program. Yeah.
Well, now I've lost my train of thought of my motion because I was going to say, in anticipation of
Was that the trainer of thought?
applying for a safe route to school grant through the state and federal government.
You got it, Terry?
I second.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion, questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Somewhere there. Yeah. Any opposition? Abstentions? None. All right, pass. Bodmer Park name.
Correct. This is all you, depending on what you all want to do. You can see in my staff report, I did a little research on your behalf. I mean, it was a very good question about Bodmer Park. Does it really have its own name? Is it its own park? Sort of what's the background on this? And as I share my screen, you can see what's physically down there. Helmholtz Park, Bodmer entrance. But I will say, to Jeff's point, I've heard a lot of people refer to this as Bodmer Park in my year here. Seems to be kind of a common nomenclature. It is listed as its own separate park in the parks list on the website, and also in the pavilion and field schedule rentals. So it now just becomes a question of what you all decide to do with it. and then provide a recommendation of town commission if you're going to make a formal recommendation for a name change to it. I did
Takes-
ask Bobby. Helmos came first, and then this came second as
Makes
well.
sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry, can I ask you a question with the baseball?
Yep,
Hey,
sure.
do you guys call that T-ball field Bodmer T-ball field, or is that Helmos T-ball?
No, it's Bodmer.
It is, okay. Helmos T-ball would be a lot easier, but
Was the park named after the road, or was it named after the Bodmer family? Because the road was there. Did we already
I think
named
it
that
was
years
named
ago?
after the road.
Right, that's what I think too. So we weren't gonna take a name away from anyone.
No.
It was
Right.
more of
I
a
think
convenient name.
Yeah, I mean,
Convenient.
obviously the sign even on
Right.
what we were just shown shows Bodmer entrance.
Right,
It's
right.
Almost
Didn't
Park,
even-
but it's
yeah,
the Bodmer entrance. So I think it's just over the years has become Bodmer Park.
Yeah.
Convenient, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're not setting up a precedence of renaming parks. We're just,
No,
okay.
You're
I think we
clarifying
be
your
clear.
local
Clarity, yeah.
conflict. Yeah.
Now, how much is it gonna take Preston to make that? Make it a sign?
I mean, I know those signs cost about $350.
He's got he's made some of the signs.
Correct, yeah, but I mean, we were talking about this once before because the Elgin one got hit not long ago. We were hoping to kind of prop the leg up. So between the timbers and some other things, I
Okay.
mean, maybe since the legs are in good shape, maybe it's the board itself, since it's a thicker, heavy cedar board, probably looking at, maybe 150.
Yeah, no, I didn't do this.
It's nominal.
I'm
Nominal, yeah.
going to ask a really technical question here. What are going to be the boundaries of this park since it's included in the Halmos
Yeah.
Park
I think
structure?
Mhm. Let me actually.
I'm kind of
get-
wondering, do we need to have it named Bodmer? I guess would be my question as well. It could, the play area could, instead of it, the one up higher is a tot lot, obviously.
This
This
is
one is more of a tot/middle. Do we need to name it Bodmer Park?
interesting.
And
This
does
is-
the T-ball field, can the T-ball field just be the Halmos T-ball field?
I
Just a
mean,
thought.
Well, no, we
You're
don't
off by
actually,
one-
so,
You're off by one slide there,
so
so.
if you want to go that route, I would
maybe you
say,
I'm off by one slide.
no,
it would
he's
be-
trying to show us the dimensions.
Well, and what I was trying, this is
Oh.
interesting. This is the county GIS system, and they ironically have it named Bodmer Park. I mean, to Jeff's point, there's probably these three lots were the original ones. In fact, I played with them a little bit. Like these actually share all the same legal description name, like part of Westerly Development, and this is part of a different development name. So, like I said, these three would be kind of the bounds if that's what you're really asking about. Clearly, it's not a perfect bound, but it gives you a sense of what you're asking about.
Yeah, I guess it's like what delineates it from the rest of Halmos, right? And it really would just be the T-ball field and the playground
Correct.
and the parking lot. That
And the
makes
wood chips. Don't forget your wood chips.
Oh yeah, and the wood chips.
Oh, yeah.
Or do we just want to call the play area Bodmer Park? Because the T-ball field is kind of part of Halmos.
well, you could call it Bodmer Field at Halmos Park, right?
Oh, by the way,
There's that.
sounds exclusive almost. And
Yeah, or we can just leave
Yeah.
Halmos Park with a Bodmer entrance. I mean,
I'm there with you, Patrick. That might be the easiest.
I don't think we're all call it Bodmer Park. I just don't know that it's worth the change, but maybe. I don't think anybody's confused about what that park is, and I think we're going to make it confusing. Is it the T-ball at Bodmer Park or at Halmos Park? I mean,
It's basically I'll tell you what, for the parents of T-ball kids, it is, it would be confusing, right? To call it, because we always have referred to it as Bodmer.
yeah.
And if they go out and they're like, well, where's Bodmer? It's Halmos. It says Halmos here. So
So,
yeah, it just, it's more for the new people. The people that have been in town for ages, you know, yeah, we all know it is Bodmer and we ignore the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I mean, I think it's like 6 in one and a half dozen in the other.
How did this originally come up now? I'm trying to remember.
My
What was
question
the-
exactly.
Yeah, what
Well,
was the deal?
it was
Process
me.
of looking-
Well, last month we had our meeting, and I was asking because I'm walking the dogs constantly now, and I just
Right.
noticed that there wasn't anything that said Bodmer Park. All we had was this
Okay.
Bodmer entrance.
Yeah.
I was just curious if we needed a sign that said Bodmer Park.
I'm
Well, technically, Bodmer Park doesn't exist. Like,
It's only an entrance.
The entrance.
with my point, what I was
Except
saying
on the
earlier is we
GIS
would
It's on the
map
literally
that,
GIS
Seth
system,
just
so
showed
yes,
us.
it exists.
what I'm saying is we would literally have to annex,
Well,
those
what's
4
the-
lots from Halmos, turn it into Bodmer. I mean, it's like,
Well, that wasn't
Hey,
it.
like, you guys, we can very easily say that we're not going to make a recommendation and it dies there. I don't think we even need to table it. I don't think there's any discussion here at all. I don't think anybody's in favor of it. Sounds like.
Wasn't it
like-
years ago that Gus Creedon came to us? He wanted to use the park as a soccer field
Soccer
for his
field, yeah,
daughter's team,
yeah.
and we said yeah, and we called it Bodmer Park then.
Yeah, it's
And we
probably,
mowed the lawn. Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I literally think it's just become, I don't even know what the proper word is, but it's just become in people's, in the minds and hearts of citizens, Bodmer Park, although technically it's never been Bodmer Park. But Terry, I mean, is there no way to be like, hey, the T-ball fields are at Halmos, better known as Bodmer Park? You know what I mean?
If it-
Or the sign says Halmos, but
Yeah.
it's really Bodmer Field or whatever. Or
All right, so I say
Bodmer
we don't
entrance.
rename it.
Okay.
That's, Terry, I'm not trying to. I want your input. I mean,
Yeah, but no, I mean, like Seth said, though, I mean, I just pulled up the GIS for Montgomery County, and it says Bodmer Park. And then that pond that we looked at where we were going to put that other trail, it actually names that Beaver Pond Park.
It does.
I mean,
Let's leave it alone.
Again, to me, I'd actually rather see it named, right? So that we don't have there is no confusion about, well, where's this? I get enough talk about, well, wait a minute, what entrance is that, right? It's the Hoskinson entrance, or it's the Tom Fox entrance, or whatever.
Hughes Road.
What if we just do also known as on the sign,
AKA Bodmer.
AKA Bodmer Park.
It's like getting to be a gangster name, like formerly known as, AKA.
Or the
Now,
Bodmer
and
Park.
The
so-
Rockville kids will be on here in no time at all.
Elmwood
way-
Park, formerly known as Bodmer.
in a way, I was playing to the Camden Yards thing, right? Oriole Park at Camden Yards kind of thing. We got the
Bodmer
Bodmer
Park.
Field at Halmos.
I kind of like that, actually. I kind of like that.
Bodmer Park at Helmets.
Bodmer T-ball field at Halmos Park. I like it. I don't know. Do we need a sign? Or do we need a,
so then let me ask this a silly question, or maybe not a silly question. Who is Bodmer?
Tad
The
Bodmer's
guy who the
family.
street's named after.
Tad Bodmer.
Is it Tad's family? That's what I'm asking. Is it
His
Tad's
family,
family
yeah.
or?
His
It's a
family, yeah.
well-known Poolsville
Okay.
family.
Yeah.
Just for the heck of it, I looked up Bodmer Park in the fire department response book.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Number one, it doesn't exist,
Okay,
and it's called Halmos Park.
Wow. So that's the only place we've seen it now, other than our own sign. Because GIS had it as Bodmer, right?
Well,
Yeah,
Jeff, would
Yeah,
it be helpful to
GIS
name
says
it then?
Bodmer.
What's that,
Well-
Mr. Pike?
Would it be helpful to name it for a EMS standpoint? Have a name for a call?
If the caller gives an address, then we know where it is. If the
Bodmer
caller
Park, they're gonna
said,
say.
if the caller said Bodmer Park, and there was a fill-in person, sometimes we get a fill-in person at the station,
Right.
and he went to the map book, it wouldn't find it.
Right.
Wow, wow.
That's interesting.
And in terms of first responder system, I mean, that's a good note, but I think Jeff chimed in, at least one place I'm familiar with, when you get, if you're having a heart attack and you're able to call or somebody's able to, you don't say I'm at like 1609, whatever road when you're at Walmart. You say I'm at Walmart, and then actually those are actually pinned as like places to go to. Of course, 911 responders is going to say, are you at the one in, Gaithersburg or
Yeah, if it's a,
Germantown?
if it's a cell phone
But big
caller,
landmarks are identified that way because nobody knows the address to
yeah, if it's a cell
Walmart.
phone caller, then they're triangulated to a certain location.
But prior to that, didn't you have a system like that? I don't know why did they had one.
Yeah, and it's gotten even better, really.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in the map book, there's no such place as Bodmer Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna be like, hey, or nobody's got a landline about Bodmer Park. So I don't, even though it doesn't exist, I don't think it's not gonna improve EMS response time by having it named Bodmer Park.
Well,
Right.
if it was named Bodmer Park, it would be added to the map book. And then let's say someone called and said, oh, I'm at Bodmer Park. Then you'd go in the map book and you'd find the directions from the station to Bodmer Park.
But didn't you just say it's triangulated already?
It is, but that gives you longitude, latitude coordinates.
More redundancy.
So, yeah, and then that gives you a pretty much precise location, but it doesn't
as
help a
opposed
lot in
to-
terms of where to drive to.
Right, as opposed to
Oh,
Helmut Park, where
I'm
you
tracking.
have
I'm tracking.
Yeah.
I got you.
three areas to come into.
Nope,
Bodmer
understood.
would pin it down. Yeah.
I got you. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll ask the captain to actually add Bodmer Park and then just point to Helmholtz Park. See page such and such. Yeah.
The
mean-
Bodmer part of Halmos is what it'll point to, right?
Bodmer entrance.
Well, something similar
We have
happened.
opened a can of worms here, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, something similar happened maybe just a couple weeks ago, where we had to call it Perkins Park.
Oh,
So in
Jake
fact, I
Perkins.
was on duty that day, and I said, okay, we'll go to Perkins Park. So I because you're supposed to use the map book, right? Even if you know
Yeah.
where you're going.
Right.
So I go into the map book, and there is no Perkins Park.
whoa.
Really?
Fortunately, we know where Perkins Park is. It's
Right.
in Stony Stony Springs. Yeah,
You probably had, it's a kid's park. You probably had plenty of calls back there.
yeah. Kid fell off their skateboard, and yeah.
I mean, it's been there a while, Jeff. It's been there a while at this point. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's been there,
relatively
yeah.
new. But was that like a missed thing? Was that a missed naming?
Possibly, I told the captain about it so he could add it into the map book because sometimes we get a fill-in crew, and they wouldn't have the slightest idea where Perkins Park is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or Bodmer Park, for that matter.
Maybe we should check all our parks if they're in the map book.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
Yeah,
road.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good to
Okay.
know.
Well,
GIS
so we got a
does not have Perkins Park on it.
at the firehouse.
Well, I'm going to ask the captain to add Bodmer Park and point currently, unless the name gets changed, to point the directions towards Helmholtz Park.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What do you guys want to do?
Terry,
Yeah,
you're the
just
only one that
like
really
you say
was strong here.
No.
Yeah,
I'd like to call it what it is, and so we
Bodmer
know it as
Field at
Bodmer Park.
Helmholtz.
I'd call it as Bodmer, but whatever you guys want to do.
You can make a motion.
Okay, so there's no motion that's being filed here because nobody's seeking to make one. We were not called to review this. This was a function of us noticing something. So there's no other party necessarily looking at it. And if there's no reason to change the name for our parks, I don't think there's a reason to change the name.
Can we keep it an open item and talk about it down the road?
Yeah,
It's always
I'll
open.
bring it up again, either way.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it.
Yeah, well, the only
I'd say-
reason I brought it up, last month is just because, everybody knows, or at least all of us older residents know that that's Bodmer Park, but there just
Yeah.
wasn't any kind of signage I just figured there wasn't any signage for any new residents that,
Right, right.
aren't going to have an idea.
Maybe maybe thousands of our YouTube viewers will be moved. to comment.
Phones are ringing at town hall right now. Off the hook. Name that park.
Question is, can we get as many followers as the town commissioners? Can we do that?
We
I
can't
was
get
looking,
likes.
it looks like we're pretty sparse tonight on followers, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry.
You mean my parents didn't tune in?
All right, so, I mean, if we can just either leave this as an open item, which is probably not the best way, or we can close it, knowing that we can revisit it whenever we want to.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I'm gonna leave that up to Terry. I'm gonna leave that up to Terry. He's got a dog in this fight, so.
Come on, Terry, what do you want? Tell us.
See, I already called it. All right.
Repeat it then.
So I would either call it Bodmer Field at Halmos Park. If it's in the GIS system as Bodmer, I don't know. It's almost like I feel like it's obligated to name it Bodmer. But if it's not in the EMS book, then I'm torn, because I'd rather call it what it is and go from there.
Well, it's not in the EMS book as Bodmer Park because
Right, but it's
not
in the
called
GIS.
Bod-
Right, but it's
not
in the
called
GIS
Bodmer Park,
system
yeah.
as
It's called Helmut Park.
yeah, in the GIS system though it actually identifies as Bodmer. So
Hey,
which one are
Seth,
we
can
using?
Can you put a Facebook poll up and just see what the town?
Name this park.
No.
I should.
I can send it. You know what? I do surveys all the time. I can send a survey out to the PAA parents and say, what do you want to call it? Do you want to call it Bodmer? Do you want to call it Halmos? What do you want to call it?
I would not do that. I was making a joke. I would not do that. I said,
Hey, if you really want to,
let's leave it
if
open
you really
and we'll
want to throw a
revisit.
wrench in it, you could name it after somebody else.
Why doesn't Jeff bring it up to the commissioners? Tell them our little predicament here.
I'll be happy to do that.
What do you guys think?
Deal.
Maybe get some input back from them. That would be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's a good idea.
I took some notes, so I'm sure Seth will fill me in when I bring it up at the next commissioner meeting.
I'll
No,
make
I
a
think from
reminder.
an EMS standpoint, it's a good idea
Sure.
to have it named officially. But
Just to repeat, the survey was a joke.
call it Trainer Park.
No, please, dear guy. If anybody names anything after me, I'm moving.
There you go.
I know a nice little community in West Virginia.
Yeah. I
Good
would.
mayor.
He's all right.
It's an even longer commute for him.
A bunch of us
Yeah.
were over talking. Where do we leave this at?
Jeff's going to bring it up with the town commission under his commissioner report on the 19th before
Okay.
the town commission.
Okay, gotcha.
And we'll discuss it in February again, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll see what the flavor of the town commission is and then see if it ends up on your agenda.
No, you see how exciting these meetings are.
Oh, God.
Aren't you so happy you joined?
Well, you're on an unusual roll tonight, though, with this, body. You guys are pretty spunky tonight.
New year. It's 2021.
that's right.
Yeah, lots of energy so far.
Trying to break out. We can move on if we've addressed that.
Yep, I think that's
Yep,
it.
please.
Anybody got any other new items? All right, moving to the superintendent. Preston is not on. He never made it,
But
right?
let me cover just quick things under his.
Okay.
So rubber mulch, as you know, has been installed at Campbell Park. And by the way, if you notice the Facebook post, it's the same company and the same material that's been used at the White House since 2009 for their park at the White House. So it's the same rubber, same material, same company.
The Campbell or Stevens?
We did at Campbell. Campbell Park's right there off of Wooten, right by the townhomes.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. So that's the one we did
Okay.
back in December, shortly before Christmas. And then we had enough left over to do just at Wooten Heights. There's a small little park that most people forget about underneath the water tower, more or less.
Yep.
And so enough to do there. And long-term, we'd like to continue this initiative. Because if you go walk on it, it's pretty soft and all that. I'd like to walk on it in 6-7 months, see how it has or has not compacted together. But it definitely looks good and it holds up for a longer duration of time. So we're happy with it so far. I'll bring this up because the chairman had asked me to. The Willard project, which you all provided a conditional recommendation to the Planning Commission on, the Planning Commission did provide a favorable recommendation to the Town Commission on that project, pretty much as presented and pretty much as presented to you, same project. They forwarded that on to the Town Commission with a positive recommendation. The Town Commission is responsible for holding the public hearing, which they will do on February 1st. And then that will be the time that they can, approve, table for more information, or deny. And so that's where the Willard project is. So the Planning Commission was pretty happy with that proposal. That just concludes anything generally from that element. I guess, probably Commissioner Eckmay probably could have handled the Willard, but I'll let him deal with some of the other Town Commission items.
So, Seth, going back to the chopped up rubber stuff, where on Campbell Park was that?
It was Brooks Park, I think.
Brooks Park, okay.
That's it.
all right.
You're right.
There
Brooks
we go. I was
Park.
like,
You're right.
Brooks.
Brooks.
Yeah, okay.
Same vicinity, different spot.
Right.
Housing.
No, I know what you meant.
Yeah. Thank you for clarification. It's Brooks
Yeah.
Park. Right. Yep.
Gotcha.
Seth, the town lights look great. The Christmas lights.
Yeah, they did. Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any plans? I know every year that we add to it, any plans on adding to it for next year? Different figures or Rusty usually handles that?
Well, I haven't talked with them about additional ones yet. I do know that's been the history. We've got a couple replacements this year. A few things have cycled out, but that's pretty common.
Okay.
So maybe we could look for some additionals as well. But of course, it's my first time seeing it. It is a beautiful looking, great touch to the town.
Interesting.
In a year of, sort of lack of ability to do much, it really kind of put a shine on the town, of course.
Yeah, it's really nice. People come from all over to drive through.
Yeah.
I wish we could run the lights up that are above all the way down to like Wooten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
We
not
need
enough poles to do it.
We could put up a temporary pole, something like that, or
Well, I mean, I just really like the look, and I like what we do on Woodland Commons, but it's neat.
Yeah, this is
We've had
exactly
those lights up there for forever, and it's just cool how they do it.
yeah.
Nice touch.
Tim, did you have any ideas on figures for Seth that you were looking for? Like what
No.
to add?
No, not really. I just,
Like
I just
some
love
hockey
Christmas
player
lights.
maybe or
A
something?
couple of penguins.
I'm sorry. What was that, Terry? I didn't hear you.
Like a hockey player or something like that?
No, I was thinking like Bodmer Park lights. I don't know. A Bodmer Field.
All right. So, Jeff Eck, you're up. We're finally down to the bottom here almost. So do you have anything as from the commissioners that you need to or address with us? Let us know about, I guess.
Uh-oh. Oh, there it is.
You're on mute.
Oh, he's muted. He's muted.
He's muted. Oh, there we go.
Jeff.
Okay, there we go.
Jeff Eck?
Yeah.
There you go.
Uh,
So,
I'm kind of thinking to myself, if I have anything, I don't believe I do. Do I have anything, Seth?
No, that's,
What'd you guys discuss at the meeting?
yeah, that's all we're looking for usually.
Just an overview or quick notes, whatever.
Yeah, except I don't have my notes with me.
so the highlight of the meeting, just to give you a highlight of the meeting, I'll touch on the big one last. There was the Holiday Lighting Contest Awards that the town commission did,
Right.
awarding those residents who participated in that. There were some certificates of appreciation for those who did the census, because this year our census response rate was 4% better than a decade ago, and we had a response rate of 86%, which is pretty high for any
Great.
communities in most places.
Wow.
And Alicia McCormick received a certificate of appreciation for getting the farmers market established as a weekly event at Wayland Commons. So there was those items on their agenda. And then there's an update from the Ethics Commission there. Ethics forms will be due at the end of the month, as always. The Willard project that was setting the public hearing. And then the big discussion we had at the meeting was looking at doing additional I&I projects, inflow and infiltration, and how we would fund that. And since some of the development community needs a little bit of capacity, this really is a mechanism to plug the pipes to keep stormwater out, to create capacity, and be able to transition that into potentially development projects. But there's a cost associated with that, and discussion became a responsibility of how much should the town pay and how much should the developer pay, since a lot of this is being initiated for their capacity needs.
Thanks, Seth.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns for the group? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go, Jeff.
Second.
And Tim Pike, second.
Mm-hmm.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we're out of here at 8:32.
Thank you
All
all.
right.
There we go,
Thanks,
guys. Take care,
everyone.
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'll send you those things about the speed humps.
Take
Yeah,
care.
thank you.
I'll copy it tomorrow at the office. I'll get it to you somehow.
Thank you.
Jeff, was that your motion or mine? Who did it?
Yours.
Mine? Okay.
Oh, I thought, okay.
All right.
Hey, Tim,
Not a
didn't we, in a past meeting, didn't we have all that speed hump stuff in one of our packets?
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
probably
back.
find it.
It was a packet from our November meeting. Our November 4th meeting. It was a big packet.
Hey,
Sounds right.
Seth, is there any possibility I could pick up my packet from town hall?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was telling Gail, I try to get these done the day before, but it's been an adventurous little month and a half here. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just talking more from the old stuff, because it's got a lot of the bike racks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my notebook too is all full of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
we haven't seen that in over a year.
That's what I meant. That's why I keep all my notes. I just stick them in the notebook.
I know.
Yeah, are you
Mine
looking
got
particularly
lost.
for the ones that had the bike rack stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me take a look. I mean, obviously these packets started when more or less I came here. I don't know what loose paper was around before then, but I can find some stuff.
You know, I mean, we used to have
no,
a
your
folder
folder.
when
We had a folder, blue folder.
But yeah,
Okay.
Bobby and her blue folders, that's right, because when you actually met in town hall, because I mean, I saw what you
That's
did
what I
get.
meant. That's what I meant.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
Not,
Yeah,
not
last
my
time we
packet.
were there
I
was
meant
March,
the,
yeah.
I meant my folder.
sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, because I mean, I don't mind getting the email packet. That's fine. Go for
Okay.
the meeting. I meant like to go back so I can look at my my past notes and everything.
Yeah.
Jeff Eck, did you get your vaccine yet?
I certainly did.
Good.
I got the first dose of the Moderna vaccine.
Yeah.
I got it on December 31st,
Okay.
so last year. And then I'll have an appointment to come back 28 days after the first one. So it looks like 24 days left
I go Friday. I can't wait.
to get the second. Oh, excellent. Yeah, to get the
I
second.
can't wait.
Yeah, no, I had absolutely no adverse reactions whatsoever. Yeah.
My wife did the study in Moderna back in July. So she's
Oh.
had immunity for a while. Yeah.
Oh,
She
excellent.
was a part of that study, big study.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Lucky her.
Mhm.
All right.
All
And we're
right.
adjourned, right?
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
we are. I'm
Just up, Jeff.
leaving then. I'd love to hang out, but I'll see you guys. Take
All right,
care.
good
Yeah.
night.
Take care,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a
Yeah.
good Happy New
Yeah.
Year.